Welcome to Tuesday Online Book Club with What If a Transformational Guide. We are going to get started right here. Whoopsie, back in frame. What if a transformational guide? This book was channeled by moi. Every question in here was channeled, and the order that oopsie, I didn't even go live on Podbean yet. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm live on Podbean. If you want to call in on Podbean, go ahead. Um, every question in here was channeled, and the order that they are in the book was also channeled. I was very diligent about listening to how the question should be framed and where to put them in the book. I have a whole another notebook full of what if questions. So yes, so this is the first book. There may be a second one, but right now we are just working with this one. Alrighty. Alrighty. So I'm going to first, don't get scammed. Please don't get scammed. I go live every Monday at noon for approximately 60 minutes and answer your questions about life, love, career, finances. And I also um, help you connect with loved ones on the other side. I do private sessions for hypnosis, healing, readings, channeling, and I've authored authored 7 books. This is just one of them. So yes, let's see, anything else? You can join the book club every Tuesday at noon on YouTube, and you can participate in the chat, or you can join on Podbean and participate in the chat or call in. So let's get started with today's question. What if we are a small spark of the whole, and what we are seeking is being part of the whole again? Now, I'm going to give a couple different perspectives here. We as humans are always wanting love. We have these wants that are some of them are materialistic, but some of them are also very we want to be loved, we want to love, we want to achieve, we have all these things that we feel like we're chasing sometimes. And what if what we really want is the oneness that being part of the whole provides for us? So we want to connect with other humans and other things and pets and animals and trees, things that live. We want to connect with it, and we want to have that connection, and we want to feel a part of. We want to feel bonded and connected, and like we understand people and they understand us, and we want to feel that, like as though we are part of the whole again. And I think the reason maybe, and I really do want people to participate and to state their how they feel about this. If and this is not an easy one. I'm just going to say this is probably not the easiest question to answer, the easiest what if. Uh, it's probably not the easiest thing to expand on. So, what if what you're seeking is to be part, to have your spark feel whole again, when like it did when you were home, perhaps, or you want that connection because in my very naive and unproven um, theory. It'd be kind of difficult to prove, but I believe on the other side that we're just orbs, like we're energy balls with no physical skin, and we can move very quickly or slowly and expand, and we morph into each other, and we have telecommunication like telepathy, and we have just so much that we can do on the other side, um, that we cannot do here. And when we're here, we don't feel that the way we would on the other side. So what if what we're seeking is to feel part of the whole again? What if that is it? Now, if that's the case for me, personally for me, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start making my spark from the whole as expanded as possible, as big as possible, as full as possible. Because in making my spark, my piece from the whole as big as possible, I understand that I am then feeling like part of the whole again, like I'm connected to the whole again. And I honestly do believe everything starts in us and with us, for us. Wherever we sit, frequency, energy, vibration, whatever word you want to use, that's what we are experiencing. And I'm going to go a little bit further with this. Where we are in our consciousness and our mind and our heart is what is prohibiting or allowing things to come to us. So if we, like, for example, when we're really in love with someone and we feel so good, all these good things start happening. But it's the love that we have for that person that puts us in that higher vibration, that puts us in that space that is opening the higher levels. And our spark is expanding because of the love we're exhibiting. And one of the ways I would say that is you might say, well, no, it's the love between the two people. But think about when you get a new puppy or a new baby. You have a baby. You don't get a new baby. You have a baby. Some people get a baby, but there's a newborn. The newborn really is in the taking mode, even though you love that newborn so much and it's bringing you so much joy, or a puppy if you've never had a newborn. You get this puppy and you just adore it. Oh my gosh. And you just want to do everything for it. It brings your frequency up to another level. It expands your spark, your heart, your love, your vibration, whatever you personally want to call it, your inner identity, whatever term you're most comfortable with. So when you, uh, yeah, Fawn, I'm going to stop for a second on this. Fawn, Podbean's on. It took me a moment to sign in. Wait, is it on? Do I need to start it again? It says it's been on for 9 minutes. Can you, should I start again on Podbean to see, Fawn? Because I did put it live and supposedly it is live. I have to figure out, I really, really have to figure out how to like schedule a show on Podbean. Okay, let me end this one and then start another one. And okay, I'm sorry about this, everybody. Little technical stuff going on here. We're going to get there though. Okay, live stream, start now, and done. Dun, 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 dun. I did a video this morning on TikTok for songs, and one of the songs was that okay. It should be live now. They sent the little notification to me, and so okay. So yes, I did a songs from heaven this morning, and one of the songs was that song. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. There's Fawn. Thank you, Fawn. If you call in, I'll put you on. And I'm actually sitting and waiting. So, okay, Fawn. Hello, Fawn.
Hello, let me turn off the back speaker. Here we go.
Awesome. So here we go. Fawn, you and I, Rebecca's running a little bit late, which is okay. Hey, Mimi, thanks for being in the chat with us. And so it might be us. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on today's show because this is a really deep question and it can go like 100 different ways. So, Fawn, when you first of all, my interpretation of the question does not have to be your interpretation or anybody else's. So, when you first read the question, how did you take it? Where did you go with that? Hey, Drops of Jupiter.
I felt like I kind of took it literally, like we want to feel like we belong, yet we go through this period of feeling alone in order to grow and get to know ourselves first. And then we start to realize our purpose and our spark and our light and everything. And that kind of leads us to wanting to be part of the whole, but wanting to be part of the whole as far as going forward in change and peace and joy and all of those things, not the whole part that would be the negative things. That's kind of how I took it. This is a really hard one. You're right.
It is. And I'm going to repeat the question again. And it took me like until today to even be able to read the question without being completely like messing it up. But what if we are a small spark of the whole, and meaning whether you call it God, universe, creator is the whole, and God, let's just use the word God, took a piece of us, or creator took a piece of us, took a piece of itself, a little bitty piece of itself, a spark of itself, and put it here and wrapped it in flesh and called it Fawn or Drops of Jupiter or Mimi or Tony or whatever it is. What if we are a small spark of the whole, and what we are seeking is being part of the whole again? Now, I want to say if we are a small spark of the whole, then others here are a small spark of the whole also, wrapped in flesh, and the flesh separates. But what we're really craving is to have that, like you said, connection, that bond, that like when we're little kids, and or let's just say a puppy. I'm going to use a puppy again because a puppy is really, really easy. So a puppy, when it's a baby, everybody wants it and loves it, and nobody's afraid of it, and it's the most adorable thing. And I've often said puppies and babies have this very unique smell to them that is so amazing, and I think it's because they're just so fresh from the other side. And we all want to play with it and be with it, but then as it gets bigger, some people might have fear of the dog because it's a bigger dog or whatever it is. Okay. So the same with humans. As when we're infants and we're little kids, we think everybody wants to play with us, everybody loves us. We don't understand people wouldn't love us at that point. We just are loved. And even if somebody does something contrary to that, we still are surrounded by enough love, and we just understand that. But then as time goes on, we end up in maybe situations where we put our guard up and we feel very guarded, and then we end up not feeling part of the whole, but wanting to feel part of the whole. Okay. So that is I feel like it is one of those things where we really want to be connected, and we want to have that feeling, perhaps like when we were an infant, that frequency, that vibration, that oneness, if you will, that we had when we were when we were
I agree with that. I would like to, if you have a moment, I
yeah,
would like to share this letter that my daughter wrote when she was really young. And this actually really shows an example of how much we change, if you want me to.
hmm
Okay. Okay.
hmm
She wrote this, I think it was first grade. This is my dream. I will be loving everybody to be nice. I will spread love everywhere to listen to your heart because it can always tell you right. It can be my dream. I will tell everybody I will be a star. I can make the world shine. In all ways you will look at me closely. I will make my dream be true. I will rise up. I will be a good person. This part's kind of funny though. I will always be right. I will never be wrong. But I am not an angel, but the light always shines on me and I know I can be special. Isn't that
I
a beautiful,
I
beautiful
love that.
example?
As we are children, that is one of the things we have all that confidence. Shailene, if you'd like to call back in, I'm so sorry I missed you calling in. If you'd like to call back in, you can go ahead and do that. Um, yeah, I love that. And I feel like that is one of the most beautiful things. Um, and I love when little kids write things because their heart is still so pure, and they are
Yeah.
still so in that place to feel that without feeling like they're being arrogant, without feeling like they're being wrong or that it's too egoic to say that. And we should all be like that as adults. So I'm going to repeat the question one more time as new people come in. Hey, Sam, I am. And Shailene, welcome to the room. The question today, and I know it's kind of a deep question, but what if we are a small spark of the whole, and what we are seeking is being part of the whole again? So it's not the drugs, it's not the alcohol, it's not the man or the woman, it's not the a house with 5 bedrooms, blah 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 blah. What we're seeking, because all those things give us a momentary satisfaction, but what we're really seeking is that belonging, that connection, that
Ooh,
unconditional love again, that we
wow.
get on the other side, and then once we get here, we really want that again. We seek it, but we don't quite find it because there aren't a lot of people here capable of being and giving that unconditional love. So we
Ooh.
end up trying to fill it with a person who, and many times, and this is how we end up sometimes with people who are, the more we seek that love, the more sometimes we can end up with someone who will make us work for that love, like
Ooh.
the dark triad type of narcissist, sociopath type of person, who really makes you struggle for that love. And because
Wow.
you are wanting to feel that love, and you're wanting to feel that connection, and
You are
really
made for it.
where it comes from, the core of that the core of everything in your life begins with you and ends with you. So you have to foster that. You have to 100% make sure that is so whole in you, because when it's whole, I'm going to tell you this, and I know this for a fact, when it's whole in you, regardless of anyone else or everyone else, you do not seek outside of you, you sit inside of you. And that is one of the most beautiful things, because then the people who come and go in your life, you understand them in a completely different way. You can experience them without expectation, need, and want. You can have them be in your presence without feeling the need to keep them there forever, to own them, to look at them as property, like you're mine. We're supposed to be together. You can no, this person is here today, but if they're not here tomorrow, it's okay, because I am whole within me. I am whole in my entirety. There is nothing anyone else can give me that I don't already have.
Mm,
Okay, Shailene, go ahead. Well, how do you feel about this question, and where does that put you?
okay. Can you repeat the question? Oh my
Mhm.
goodness graciousness.
I'm sorry.
Everything you just said, it hit. I was like, wow, because I've been struggling inside. You know what I mean by inside.
Yes.
Like,
And that is where all struggle begins, inside of us. There is nothing, because we are not at peace. We are not accepting, and we are not at peace with
mm,
what either what we did, what somebody else did, what happened. We have not found the peace in the situations yet. So we struggle. And I think about when we're children and we don't know all the dynamics of everything that's going on in the home, we're just playing and having fun and being goofy. There is no struggle. I mean, for our parents, there were there was lots of struggle for our parents. But what
I've had it very rough. As a childhood, my mom used to kick us out at 7 o'clock in the morning. Go play at the park and come back, and like that type of childhood. So, yeah.
Yeah. So let me repeat the question. And I think so many of us went through things. I always say this: we're surviving our parents, but our parents survived their parents, and their parents weren't as evolved as they were, just like our parents. Like when I was growing up, there weren't books, all the books that are out there, like that are out there now for parenting and personality disorders, and there weren't all the podcasts. I mean, we grew up like, I see this meme on TV all the time, not on TV, on social media, about the TVs way back in the day, like the first TVs that came out that were like heavier than the couches that we have now. And we didn't really have that back. We didn't have all the resources back in the day that people have now. So, one of the things that I always say is, our parents were surviving their childhood and the way they were brought up, and they didn't really talk about it because they were taught, we don't talk about what goes on in the house. We don't talk about what happened in the family. But when my mom would let one or two of the stories slip about her childhood, I was shook to my core. So all we can hope is, like, my grandparents, my mom was surviving my grandparents, and we also survived what we went through. But I always try to think they did the best they could with what they had, the knowledge and the understanding that they had, and the upbringing that they had. It's very difficult to break family cycles and behavioral cycles and patterns. If your parents, if my mom's parents were, it was normal to and acceptable and expected for physical punishment, but then my mom never laid her hands on me that way, right? That's
Yes.
that's huge for progression. And that doesn't mean my mom wasn't surviving what my grandparents did or how they did it. It doesn't. And my grandparents, I think they had 13 kids.
Yes.
So 13.
Ooh.
I mean, Jesus, Moses and Mary, 13
I had 7.
kids.
I had 7, and I'm like 13. Ah.
Yeah, and my mom had 6. So I mean, so yes, and what I will say, let me repeat the question. What if we are a small spark of the whole, like the creator, God took a piece of itself and said, this is going to be Shailene. This spark is going to be Fawn. This spark is going to be Mimi. And okay, so what if we are a small spark of the whole, and what we are seeking is being part of the whole again? So we think we're seeking all these external things, but what we're really seeking is being a part, a belonging, to feel that whole again. And I believe we
Yes.
do as babies. So, Shailene, if that is the case, what does that change for you in this life? Where do you go with that, and how do you get there?
Ooh. So, I think just, that's difficult. Ooh.
It's a big, and this is one of the most difficult questions in the book because it does deal with, the question is very open. And again, this book was channeled, every question in the book was channeled, and the questions were intentionally left in a way that one person could look at this question and think of it this way. Another person could read this question and think of it in a completely different way. So, the way even I explain the question, somebody else might read this and go, no, the way I take this question of what if we are a small spark of the whole, meaning, what if we're just a small part of this planet rather than the creator? Let's do that. And what we're seeking is being part of the whole again, meaning the planet, being part of it again. We could even go, what if you're a small spark of the whole, and the whole being your family, or whatever it is. So even the way I say the question, when you read the question or you hear the question, it's for you to interpret it in your way and to give that meaning that resonates with you. Although I give an example of it, I'm not giving the how it sits with you could be completely different. It could be so different with how it sits with you. So
it's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, they are. These questions are.
Oh, like, it's deep. It's deep because I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You know what? When I felt that I started becoming a person and living life, because living life is. Oh my goodness! Wait a minute. I don't want to go off. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to just give a little example for myself. This is just my own little opinion of my own little self. So before, I didn't even know anything inside. Does that make sense? Or about the creator, anything.
Yeah.
And then when I learned about the creator, I became someone. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Like, I became something different inside. It's not all that. It's not. I became to understand. to actually see. So, ooh, okay.
Yes.
Oh my graciousness.
So
Oh my graciousness.
I want to say, Shailene, I get exactly what you're saying, because I think here's the thing. There's so much I want to say about this, and it's so many different directions with what you're saying. Once we understand about the creator or God or whatever we want to call it, and once we let that, first of all, once we acknowledge that we have a greater force above us, let's just use the term creator, even though I often use the word God. We'll use source or creator. Once we realize that there's a creator that created us, that put us here, and then when we realize that creator is so divinely connected to us, and the more aware we become of our creator, the bigger the stronger that connection gets, and then the stronger that peace, that soul, that spirit, that heart, whatever you want to call it, the stronger that gets. And the more we tune into that, the stronger it is with each person, and it's a little different, and that's part of the awakening, as people call it, just that awakening to know that we are that. It wakes something up in us. First of all, we're not here alone struggling on our own. Second of all, there's this force in the universe that cares unconditionally about us and cares what happens, who we are, who we become, and actually put us here with a purpose, for a purpose, and on purpose to fulfill whatever it is our purpose is, in whatever way we can fulfill it. And there's no disappointment, there's just unconditional love from this. And when we can tap into that, when we can tap in and we can be so connected to that, we then can start expanding and understanding all of the unlimited potential and possibilities that we have. And unfortunately, in our world, we are taught by certain things: don't meditate, don't do this, don't do that, don't go into yourself, to always have your mind polluted with what other people are saying and doing. Well, if our mind is we're always being the listening to things like TV and this and that and others, how do we sit and allow our mind to hear um, the word of our source, of our creator? How do we communicate with it? So, one of the things I tell people is find a way. If you don't want to listen, if you're not comfortable listening, just find a way to sit and feel your connection to your creator, your source. Feel that connection, and you will have tears of just pure love coming out of your eyes when you feel that connection. And then the first time you get that response, you will be in such, you won't want to go. I mean, I get it. Like the first
Oh,
time.
I get it.
Yes, yes.
I went into a different language. I didn't even know what I was saying.
See, yes. And it's very,
No,
yes.
but that's where, you know what? That's where I started understanding my mom,
Yeah.
because I had so much anger. Because there's, and you would probably see, but there's so much. You understand? There
Yeah.
was. Let me rephrase that. There was so much. And then he allowed me to understand what she went through.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he showed me everything she went through, I couldn't do nothing but tell my mom I loved her and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what I went through, it wasn't as grand as what she did. And
So-
because she still don't understand who I know, the God that I know. Ooh.
So, yes. And what I want to say, it's really important to understand for each and every one of us that I get that our parents went through things and they were surviving their parents, but that doesn't take away from any suffering that we went through. So it's okay to forgive them because of what they went through, but that doesn't mean minimize what you went through. You still need to heal. Just because you understand they suffered too, it doesn't mean then yours doesn't count. Okay. So there's always the element of healing where then you don't have to have you don't feel trapped, you don't feel angry, you don't feel sad, you don't feel all of those emotions that control you for any period of time.
Oh, you are so absolutely right on everything.
So, okay, let's ask Fawn. Fawn, is there anything else you want to add to this?
Going back to the family, I just also do believe that what you said has given me a lot of light on my family dynamics. When you think about, well, what did they go through before? And then it kind of gives you way more perspective, because sometimes we just really don't understand why we were treated the way we were treated, and all the things that we went through. We just don't get it. And then I found as I've gotten older and had some conversations, I found out things I didn't know, like things that shocked me. And that really gave me the perspective, a lot more perspective and a lot more sympathy. And of course, forgiveness I've already done, because forgiveness for me is for me too. It's not for them. It's for us, so that we can just go forward. We just have to forgive those people, regardless of what they did to us. If you're holding on to that, you're not going to be able to bring the love in. You've got to be love. You can't hold on to that. So try to just let go of everything. I know it's really, really hard, and maybe that would be something Tony could do a clearing for. I was thinking of a great clearing right now when you were talking about connecting to source. Maybe you could do a little clearing about clearing anything that's stopping us from connecting to source, if there is such a clearing, Tony. I thought that would be kind of a cool one.
No, she did a clearing on me. You did. She did a couple weeks ago, and you have no clue what you did for me. God just, oh my goodness, you opened such a peaceful door for me. God had you to release something for me that I had inside for so many years, so much, oh Jesus, when you sat there, because I told you about my daughter, and oh Jesus, you don't know what you did. Oh my goodness, because of God, I give him first and most of all the glory, because if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have put me on your podcast, and I got a release because of it.
It's a blessing. Tony's been a blessing to all of us. We all know that. He's helping every single one of us behind the scenes and all the time, and we're very grateful for you, Tony.
Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Hey, Rebecca, welcome to the show. I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say I will do some clearings. I'm gonna say, and if you have children, and the way we looked at our parents and the way they raised us, and we thought we knew better about how they raised us, your kids think the same thing. Like, my mom put me through it. My mother put me through it. And then you realize, and they think, I'm never going to do this with my kid. And then they have children, and then they know, yep, yeah. And I will say, while we're here, let's do, I want to do again, there's a couple things I want to do, because the first thing I want to do is anger and pain. We're going to clear some, not all of it, but any of it that can go, and you can come back, and this is at the 39-minute mark of the show. So we are going to clear, and you can come back anytime and re-listen to this because there are things I worked on and that I still work on that take, some things go in boom, in one. Other things can take a little bit longer to go depending on, if it's something that happened throughout our life or throughout an adulthood or throughout a specific relationship. It might not feel safe to let it go all in one, or there may have been so many incidences, it just cannot go all in one. So the first thing we're going to clear, and so you guys, if you feel this, great. If you don't, it doesn't mean it's not working. We're going to start with the anger. So we're going to start clearing anger, all that caused it, all that kept it. Now, anger is a very healing and necessary emotion. And if you know the 9 steps or the however many steps, I'm sorry, it's not 9, of grief, it goes from depression to anger to the next step. So anger is necessary. I know people don't like to, but we're not supposed to sit in depression. We're not supposed to sit in grief. We're not supposed to sit in it. We allow it to come up and go out. But the problem is when we experience anger, we sometimes get afraid, or we think we're not supposed to be angry, and we slip back down into depression. And sometimes we just have to go to the gym and hit a punching bag. I'm not even kidding. Or just smash some plates. There's a place you can go and just smash plates. I don't know. But sometimes you have to be angry. Sometimes you have to sit in your house alone and scream. I don't know what it is for each person. Or you just have to say, let's clear, heal, release all that caused this, kept this, the program's beliefs surrounding it. So we'll start with the anger, and then we'll go into the next one, which is the pain. Because typically, something that hurt us, something that we felt was painful, whether it was emotional, psychological, physical, caused our anger. Once in a while, it's because we did not get what we wanted, but for the most part, it was we were hurt or there was a pain involved. So we're going to heal, clear, release any and all pain associated with any and all pain, just the pain. Take the pain, all that caused it, all that kept it. And then we're going to let this go for a moment. Shailene, I am so sorry. Being a hypnotist, when I first started doing hypnosis, that's one of the main things, because I work with PTSD a lot, and childhood abuse of that nature and every nature was one of the main things I helped get people through with the hypnosis. And without saying what that is, I don't have to say the word, but I'm just going to say that for anybody who experienced it, and I know a tremendous number of people experience this, especially in their childhood. Oh my goodness, my phone is going crazy this morning. So let's heal, clear, release that, and all that it caused, all the beliefs and programs that it caused, all of the patterns and cycles that it caused. And then, hey, Rebecca, if you want to call in, you can. If you're just getting in, yay, Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Good. Hi.
And then I'm going to do, hey, Sam, I am. If you want to call in and talk about the question of the day, you can. And then I'm going to do one more clearing for fear, because I know when things happen, whether it be in our childhood, adulthood, whatever it is, we have the fear of it either A, repeating, or B, we're just afraid. I mean, we live in this world that is this world. So let's heal, clear, release the fear. And this is one of those we could work on every day for the rest of our life. For some people, it will go away, and for some people, it won't, because clearing and healing is an agreement between the body, the mind, and the spirit. And that agreement is it is safe to let this go. We are safe if we let this go. So sometimes um, the things that we hold on to because we think, I'm never going to forget this, so it never happens again. I'm going to hold on to this so that I don't let it happen again, where when it could be the complete opposite. But we feel safe holding on to that because it justifies our emotions for it. But then at the same time, as it's justifying our emotions, we feel like it's keeping us safe. Like, I have the right to have this pain. I have the right to have this anger. I have the right to have all of these things because of this. And I'm never going to let it go, because if I let it go, I'll forget this. And then there's the opportunity for it to happen again to me or somebody else. Now, we're going to slowly but effectively heal that within you so you can have understanding, because sometimes we go through something, and I sometimes feel like the things we go through were put, and I know it sounds crazy because so many of us on the show, Shailene, have had the exact same experiences as you in our childhood, in our adulthood. And we don't feel like this happened so that I could love myself. But the goal is to keep unconditional love no matter what anybody does to us or says to us, even ourselves, because hey, Lori, thanks for joining the room, because we sometimes do things and then we judge ourselves. And when other people do things to us, then we judge ourselves. We think we should have been able, even if we're like a toddler, we think we should have been able to stop it. Like, have you ever seen, my little brother did this, you guys? He's so cute. He has Down syndrome. But my mom had the oven open and she was taking something out of the oven. So she had opened the oven door and pulled something out and was putting it on the counter. And Down syndrome children don't really feel pain the way people feel pain. And my little brother was just a little toddler bean. He was under the age of 3, but he was walking, and he put his little hands on the inside of the oven door, like holding himself up. And my mom, he wasn't crying because he didn't feel pain the same way, but my mom panicked and she was like, oh my God. And so, as a parent would, and then had to like go through all the things of healing him, where she was like, oh my God, why did you do that? Well, he didn't know any better, but that's such a common, obvious response for a parent, even to a toddler. Why did you do that? Why did you touch that? So even as toddlers, when we have something like that happen, we may feel like it's our fault, like we did something wrong. And the goal here, whether somebody did something to us, we did it to ourselves, we made a choice, like whatever choice, took the wrong job, took the wrong partner, whatever the choice was, that we still love ourselves and we understand it is a journey we are on to maintain self-love regardless of the jungle we are crawling through. And that is the best way I can put it. So everything that happens, regardless of, is to help us we are supposed to maintain self-love. And I will say to you that the more you can maintain that self-love, that unconditional love, and I implore you, you might say, I do love myself. Do you like yourself? Do you like what you do, what you've done, how you've done it? Do you like who you are as a person? Because I'm gonna say this with my whole heart. If you do not like who you are, you will believe with every ounce of your being that nobody else likes you. And they can look at you and they can love you, but you will never feel that or believe it because there are parts of yourself that you do not like for whatever reason. And um, you may feel like it's a justifiable reason not to like yourself. But again, this journey here is to love ourselves regardless of anything that happens with anyone at any time and any place, to understand it's part of an experience, it's part of a journey. It is not a sentence. It is not the whole of who we are, how we are, what we are. It is something we experience and we move. And I want to say this to you, everybody listening. Sam, I am. Thank you so much. Hey, Vicki, thanks for joining the room. I want to say this to you. If your child came to you, your child that you love unconditionally with all of your heart, or somebody that you love with all of your heart came to you and said, listen, I want you to think of the worst thing that happened to you or the thing that you think is the worst that you ever did in your life. I want you to think of that right now. Just take a second and think of it. And now I want you to imagine the person you love the most in your life, whether it's your daughter, your son, your child, your niece, a nephew, a grandchild, so innocent, coming to you and saying, hey, I really messed up, or hey, this happened to me. Hey, Lori, thanks for joining the room. You would never punish them or say to them the things you say to yourself. You would not dislike them or dislove them if they went through what you went through or did what you did. You would have nothing but understanding and compassion for them, and you would explain to them why it's okay and they're not bad and they're a good person and it's not their fault. But when it's you looking at you, you are so hard on yourself as though you should have had it all figured out. And sometimes it just doesn't work that way. We're not supposed to have it all figured out. If we wanted an existence where it was all figured out and perfect and love and happiness, we would have never put on a meat suit. We would have never ever put on a meat suit and jumped on this planet and said, let's go. This is going to be an adventure. We would have stayed where we were and said, this is good. I can get from here to 5 planets away or to Paris in a second. I can see the whole world. I can understand how everything works from up here. But instead, we decided to put on this little meat suit and have these experiences. And here we are. Yeah, you know what, Shailene? Typically, sometimes when it does happen to us, it can happen to our children too, because I don't know why, but sometimes it does. But you can't blame yourself. I will say this with every breath I have. Do not take responsibility for other people's bad behaviors. When somebody else does something that's wrong, when somebody does something that's inappropriate, we cannot take responsibility for it. We cannot say, oh my God, I should have done better with my kids. I should have protected them more. We don't know what agreements we made before we came in that we we wanted to experience. If you believe in the Akashic records or contracts or whatever it is, there are agreements we made before we came in to experience, to have certain experiences in this life, and that means your children did also. So, and this is not an easy, sometimes this is not an easy place to be. So being in a situation where that is part of it, let me do this. We're going to, for anybody listening and or watching or rewatching, re-listening, let's stop the lineage of that abuse, that type, especially of that type of abuse, especially, but of the abuse. Let's clear that out of our lineage, our DNA. Let's make sure all the lessons have been learned from this. Whew. Let's make sure we have had it's safe and comfortable to let all of this go. And I feel like for many of us, this didn't start with us. It started like generations ago, way in the past. So, Rebecca, thank you so much for being here. I didn't even give you an opportunity to answer today's question. Tell me what you feel about today's question.
I'm here. Sorry.
Mhm.
I don't understand the question, but I read it. What if we were a small spark of the whole? Spark, like I'm a little spark of the family?
So, I'll read it again, and you can decide how family, whatever. What if we are a small spark of the whole, meaning the Creator God took a piece of itself and said, "This is going to be Rebecca. I'm going to put a skin around it, and this is going to be Rebecca." So you're a small spark of either the Creator, your family, the earth, whatever, however you want to look at it. And what you are seeking is being part of the whole again, meaning you're seeking to be part of, let's just say it's Creator or God. You're seeking to be a part of that whole, that connection, that bond again. Or if it's your family, because the family here, the family there, whatever it is. So, however you see that, Rebecca. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Based on the. Sorry. I'm a spark here. Well, I come from a family. I'm going to take it based on family.
Okay.
That belittles you, makes you seem like you're no one, especially for a woman. And I'm at the point now where I'm learning how to let go of that anger, which I have, walk away, and not listen to it. This is who I am. This is me. And it stops here. And it's not going to move on to the next of my kids, my grandkids, or great grandkids. It stops here. Whatever they see from me, who I am, I hope it helps them to grow in this life.
I love that. I love that. And that comes from, I'm going to say that also comes from like just knowing you and knowing you are, I know people use the word worthy and certain words a lot, but that comes from having an understanding that's not me. This is me. I am this. And having the strength to have that, Rebecca. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That's amazing. That is. So the one thing I want to say for everybody, we're going to do another clearing, and I want you throughout this week, if you can, if you have the time and you're comfortable doing this, I don't want you to think of your family as the people that you share blood with. Okay? Like maybe your children. You can think of your children in this grouping. But what I want you to take a moment and think about is, what if my family is this etheric family of angels and Creator and or God and my spirit guides? What if my family is this whole group of etheric beings that are walking me through this journey here that is so complete? And what if I chose these experiences here to help me be in a space that is pure and strong? So I want you to think about that throughout the week, you guys. And then I just want to I do have clients booked this afternoon. One of them's actually calling right now. So I'm going to go to next week's question. I obviously booked that. I thought I booked it for 1:30, but it's okay. Here we go. This is next week's question. What if when we all work together, it can tip the scales and we can make magic, peace, and harmony? That's next week's question. And then we're going to talk about what that looks like for you, how that feels for you, and what that means for you. Okay? So if we did that, how could we do it? And that could mean work together in the career, with the family, with angels, with guides, all of that. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry I kind of have to end this a little bit quickly. I will be back. I might do a pop-up show this weekend, but I'll probably be back on Monday to do no, I'll be back Monday to do my show at noon. I will see you next Tuesday for the book club. Until then, you guys have an absolutely amazing rest of the day. Thank you so much, everybody. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.